To go on with the video of yesterday with taxes and stuff, the leading assumption amongst like mainstream economists is that you should give tax cuts to wealthy people because they have capital and the means of production and they know what to do with it and they know how to go, like their incentive is to make more, to produce more, not for like altruistic reasons, just because like, well, I have money, I want more money and whatever. The problem with that is that there's an assumption there in economics. There's a lot of assumptions, and there's an assumption there that they're going to pay their employees more, but the incentive is the opposite. The incentive would to have less employees and to pay them less because they're part of a cost of input for your output. If you can pay your employee less and you can get less employees to do the same amount of production, that increases your profit because your revenue would be more or less the same there. So what this leads to is a division where you're just going to have more poor people because the goal, the incentive, the standing incentive is to pay them less. Their purchasing power is decreasing because you don't give them tax cuts, you give tax cuts to the rich. So the purchasing power of your everyday person is decreasing. Purchasing power of your wealthy is increasing. They already have a larger claim on resources than everyone else because they have more money, they have more wealth, and they have more means to it. So I really don't understand how classical economists or imperial economists can say like, hey, we need to give more tax cuts and fund the rich more. Like if you don't get these fundings and these tax cuts and you go out of business, yes, that would be detrimental to society because the goods and services you did provide and the jobs you provided would go away. But it would also be a testament to capitalism that you couldn't survive with that structure. So you weren't meant to have that business because that's what capitalism says. You know, Darwinism of economics or business cycles is that like, or businesses is that, well, if your business plan is bad and it fails and it can't succeed without outside subsidies and grants, then it shouldn't exist in the market and it should be replaced by a more efficient one. We don't have that anymore because we just keep having bailouts and we keep having subsidies and grants and all these other fun little things and tax cuts for businesses. And we're just getting, sorry to ramble on, but we're just getting further and further away from an actual economic growth. Like the economic growth is just measured through various formulas with GDP and CPI and interest rates and inflation rates. But what we're seeing in everyday life is that less and less people, or more and more people have less, and less people have more, which is kind of like the opposite of what our goal in economics is.